This color along will take place in the Wildflower Folk by Christine Karron. My goal for this page is to change what looks like Red Riding Hood into Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. This color along focuses on coloring the basket in this 5-part video series inspired by The Wizard of Oz. Hey there, it's Jody. If you're just joining me, this is part 3 of 5. In the first video, I shared how I did the background. In the second video, I shared how I did the hair. More details about the coloring challenge and the entire video series will be linked in the video description. The colors I'll be using, I'll go with the handy dandy golden rod. We're going to do dark brown, might do black, cream. We might use the brown ochre, but I don't want it to look like her hair, so I have to be mindful about that. The other colors include espresso, beige sienna, and this violet to kind of offset some of the colors. First up, our light is coming from here, or really from the top. I'm going to start with the espresso. Some of these areas. Making like little tiny squares to keep with the basket. Adding some shadows in these areas because it's not really going to matter if I put like a blue or anything over them. So I'm just going to add a little shadows around the basket. Look, I missed her hair. I'll go ahead and just add a little couple. Some of these colors are in here anyway. I missed just a couple locks of her hair right here. I'm just going to add a little shadow in some of these just to bring a little depth to whatever I'm going to do later. This color is pretty nice, especially if you're using warm colors, to try to get in some shadowing, and I am going to add some shadows in this flower because the light's coming from up there. Like a little shadow. Okay. Little lines around here. Okay, so let's add a little depth in some of these little basket weaves just to get some of the colors prepped for when I do color it in. So as you can see right now, I'm mainly doing shadowing just to kind of figure out where my colors that I do want to pop go. And it just makes it a little faster to color, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys do that, but yeah, I think it makes it a little more straightforward on the plan. And so up here, I'm going to add a little shadow because the light's hitting from the top. So just going to add and blend this a little just to kind of give it a little pop and depth. So it's not too much. It's not very noticeable when these colors are neutral what I'm doing, I don't think. So there. I'm feeling good about that. And that was it with espresso. Let's go in with dark brown. Now the difference between espresso and the other one, I would say espresso has a little bit more cool tone, maybe. Kind of a grayish color. I'm going to do the bottom of these areas just to bring a little bit more pop around here, just the bottom. And it's just, I guess this is a little bit shadowing too. Right here, doing a light layer. My hand doesn't look like it, I am, but I am. I'm doing a light layer. Let's see if my thing's focused. I'm just doing light layers on the bottom now. And sure, I guess it's the same thing as the other color, but it just adds a little bit more, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm kind of blending what I just did a moment ago. So it's fine. I am going to bring in here for the mushrooms just a little bit of depth, a little darkness. That seems fine. Add a little bit of depth for the stem of this squash or of some sort. To me it looks like butternut squash or something like that. Looks like this is her hair again, so we're just going to add some dark brown in there. I am going to bring some color in here. This is the burnt ochre, or the brown, burnt ochre or brown? Burnt ochre. Just to show that it is hair. I don't know how I missed it, but I really do tend to miss things at times when I have many things on the page. Now that I have this color in my hand, let's go ahead and think about, I guess I'm trying to bring in some color, but I'm trying not to over saturate it with this color because baskets are often tan or they have like a golden tone, but I don't want it to look like her hair, so I have to get clever about this because this is the exact same colors I was using for her hair, right? So I've got to think about that. I am being lazy right now, just kind of blending all this right now. Adding a little bit of color here. I am going to go on the top here just to kind of make it not look like, up here I don't mind the light, but right down here I think there's a little bit more depth here. We're just going to add the top. We're going to keep this area kind of, I'm basically working with the white on the page, if that makes sense, to kind of see where I want to do stuff. Right here though, I do want to add a little bit on the edges there. Now I am going to bring in this beige, and that's because I don't want the golden rod to kind of look like this hair color here that I was using. So we are going to bring this in some of the areas, and I'm doing circular motion. Blending some of the other stuff that I did a moment ago. And then I am going to go back in with this color on the top layer because it still has like, it still will have a little depth to kind of bring it out a little. I do sometimes just make it all light, but there's moments where I just feel like there's a little depth sometimes and that's why it looks noticeable, you know. But I like where this is going right now with this color. It feels like it's being cohesive enough. And yeah, I like working with these muted grayish browns sometimes. I think they're very pretty. I'm going to try this cream for just a moment to see if I like that. Let me see. I think it kind of mucks it up. I think I like using some of the white on the basket or on the paper, but we'll go ahead and just blend it a little just to make it not look like her hair color. But of course I am going to use this. I am just going to use some flicks just to make the bottom pieces look like there's a little bit of basketry in here. Baskets do have a little bit of gold tone. So I'm just doing like little flicks to try to get a little depth in there. And I just love using goldenrod. I love that it kind of has this way of working with purples, and it always looks so neat. So I guess you could say this is kind of like a brindle or something like that I'm doing. I'm just adding a little bit of, Yeah, I'm just adding a little bit of color and it's not overshadowed. It's not too much. Let's get some mushrooms going. I'm gonna take some of the beige sienna and try to get some of this colored in. Trying to use the white of the paper again to kind of just make it look like it's popping out. You don't have to color in all the tops. You could use the white of your paper to just bring out a little depth. I am going to go in though with a little cream just to kind of make it blend a little nice. And then we are going to go in with espresso just to divide some of these so they look like they're all here individually. That's good enough to me. I think it doesn't have to be obvious that they're mushrooms. Let's see. I'm going to say these are all mushrooms. How about that? That'll just speed up the coloring as well. We'll just say this is another mushroom. We'll bring in some little cream just to kind of blend it a little so it looks like they're mushrooms. I think I want to do, we'll do a little dark on this little piece here. I'm feeling good about that. I think that is a nice thing. Now squash typically has, well, butternut squash can be all different colors, but we're going to go ahead and just add a little pumpkin color. This is mineral orange. And I'm just going in where the creases are, trying to make this look more like a type of squash instead of a eggplant. So I just followed the grain, bringing in the cream just to kind of blend it a little bit. Once again, this isn't the focal point that I want to be the interest. I want the flowers to be of interest. Let's do a little bit more beige here. It's usually white, but I'm kind of not wanting it to be the focus, you know? And we'll bring in some beige here, see how that does. Yeah, it's not bad. Next, I would say this is corn. And what I did last night when I was coloring another page, I'll show the completed page here. I used purple and violets and different colors like that. So we're gonna do that for some of the dark points here. And I know that sounds crazy, but it just looked really neat. I definitely used some browns. Add some shadows here. Okay, that looks kind of neat. And then I added, I think I added a similar color like this. We're not going to add too much. We're just adding a little bit on the bottom, a little bit on the top. And then of course I did my golden rod. That's fine. It's kind of neat looking. The other one I had peach and some other colors, but this is fine. In fact, do I have any peach? I'll put some red in here, some crimson red. Make it a little interesting. I'm going to change it. It's not corn. I don't know what it is. But yeah, the peach totally changed it. I think that's kind of interesting though. Next up is trying to get the red velvet ones going. And as I mentioned earlier, I really want this to be the focal point, kind of reminding you of the red slippers. I might even add a pop of glitter in here, kind of like a salute or her future. And so, while this won't be 100% Queen Velvet, it'll have that vibe to it for sure. And kind of the ruby slippers, kind of. So all I did here, by the way, is I pretended my light source is coming from the top, and then I just kind of curved everything. I worked with the white, and yeah, I just do where I think lighting might go. So now we're gonna grab Crimson Lake. It's got, what was this one? This one was Tuscan Red. Crimson Lake. So I'm just bringing out the Crimson Lake color to keep with that ruby color. I want them to be noticeable, but not to a point where it takes away from her blue outfit and her eyes and everything. So we're gonna keep the white going. And I feel like I need peach in here. Let's go ahead and do peach. Let's see which one we like. Do we like, okay, this is peach, and that was what I used, peach. I don't know if it'll do it like it did last night. It's the paper. I'm gonna do peach down here and see if I like that. It's not bad. Let's try nectar. Nectar's too dark. We're gonna keep with our peach. So I'm just taking some of the white out. Medium. I'm doing circular motions, by the way. Okay, now we want that darkness down here to happen. So let's go with espresso. And I'm just going to do circles. And I like to do this to try to bring out the pollen that you get sometimes with, or the pollen that you get with these. And then I just add different colors of browns. We'll add this dark brown, which is a little bit warmer. Then I will bring in the golden rod in a sec. Get some burnt ochre, which I keep calling as brown ochre, and blend it all in. And then we're going to bring in our golden tone back in, which is, let me see what Sunshine Yellow can do. I don't usually use this color in there. Going back to my goldenrod. Well, I don't think that looks bad, but I am going to bring my goldenrod in here. Goldenrod typically will fix anything, so it'll bring in that kind of sweetness that you want when you look at a sunflower. I like that. It always saves things. I'm going to bring in some black to kind of add a little bit more depth to the inside. And typically I'll take, when this gets dark, I'll take some dots for like, which I have to do here, I'm sorry. I'm going to take a couple dots of these, just to add a little interest to the inside of these. I think that's going to look really pretty. There. Okay. And let's see, I do want to add a little bit more. I should stop now, of course. But I want to add a little bit to the tops of these, since this is kind of the end of it. This is like this peaches tone. Just add a little on the tops of each of these. I think that'll look pretty. Kind of have that glass slipper vibe to it too. Yeah, I think that'll add some little bit of interest to them. So the light's not that great in here, but the thing I am excited about is to see how that blue's gonna work with it, you know? Yeah, I think that's not bad. You can see a little shimmer from the glitter. I like it. Just coming along really nicely. Thank you so much for joining me with this color along. In the next video, I'll share how I do her portrait, which includes makeup, skin, and eyes. Be sure to click the next video or check the video linked in the description. Thanks for watching.